says another frustration that you have to see in the text is that God is commanding something to be produced out of something that you don't own. And so a frustration is that I have to get it from somebody else and take it to you so you can do something for me for somebody else. Hold on.
Come on. Can I show you something? Can I show you an excitement in the text? The excitement in the text is what they didn't understand, and what I saw this time that I never seen the whole time I have been studying this text is that the disciples said, we don't have nothing. And the Lord began to talk to me. I said, wait a minute, God, what you mean they didn't have nothing? I thought that they were going to eat, and I thought that they were going to rest. Why didn't they have at least their own food? And the Lord says to me, they didn't have nothing. And I said, God, well, how is it that they were not nervous to be with you without having anything for themselves? But what they were nervous about was the multitude. And the Lord says that day was a day of graduation, because you had seen me do it for you, but you hadn't seen me do it for the multitudes. Grab somebody by the hand and tell them, say, hey neighbor, you only had enough faith just for you. See, they went when God had enough food for themselves, but when God told them to produce for somebody else, then they got nervous. I know you can do it for us. We've seen you do it for us, but you're telling us to do it for them. I need you to understand that 2016 is a year where God is going to use you to produce for the masses. Shout yeah! I'm just chatting. Listen, I'm just chatting.
Yes, sir. Ghost had your way.
I mean, had your way in here. I'm almost done. I didn't understand. The Lord said, he told me, he said, Pierre, you have been spending your time. He said, see, it was easy for you to believe me to do it for you and your siblings, because you had seen that before. But the frustration came is that when you didn't have to just trust for yourself. It's one thing when you're trusting God as an evangelist. It's something totally different when you're trusting him as a pastor. Because see, people are looking at you to make sure you produce, because if you don't produce, then we don't eat. There's a frustration when you're a parent versus just believing God while you single. There's a frustration when you married versus believing God while you single, because the whole house is depending on me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Come on now. My Lord. Come on.
And then the Lord take on Holy Ghost. You didn't tell me that while I was studying today. I'll preach that. I just heard the Holy Ghost say, tell them for free that they're getting ready to do something with somebody else's stuff. Grab hold to your neighbor and tell your neighbor, you getting ready to produce with somebody else's stuff. You getting ready to take something that look insignificant. Can I prophesy to you, Bishop? I heard the Holy Ghost say while I was studying today. He says the next miracle is not going to be done with old people food. It's going to be done with something that came from a young person. I heard the Holy Ghost tell me to tell you that the next influx of membership will be between 18 and 40. God told me to tell you, he's going to take the food from kids, boys and girls, and cause you to produce. Somebody shout, yeah!
Big go.
Be seated. We just chatting, we're moving. Look!
God, I'm getting glad.
Yes, Lord. Walker, I feel like preaching. I'm trying to be cool. Pull your neighbor and tell your neighbor, I'm getting ready to do it with the least expected. I'm getting ready to take something that didn't even belong to me. I'm getting ready to take something that's insignificant. And when you study, it wasn't whole fish. It was sardines the boy had. It was just enough for him. And his mama packed it as a lunch. And there's a difference between lunch and supper. What do you know? If you go to a restaurant, the lunch menu is cheaper because the portions are smaller. I need to tell somebody, you get ready to do something with lunch that folk can't do with dinner. Shout yes! All right. Woo. Shucks Walker, you pushing. I got to go. I'm out right now. Look what he says. What he says. He does all of this. He does all of this. He does all of this. Thank you, baby. He does all of this, and he does it in the desert place. Good God Almighty. He does all of this in the desert place. And that word desert in the Greek is eremos. And it simply means, it doesn't mean barren, but it means secluded, isolated, or private.
Come on.
It means not having territory or belonging to someone. Right. When you look at the text on the surface, you will attack the word desert from Webster's disposition versus from the Greek rendering of the word. The etymology of the word means isolated. It didn't mean that it was dry.
Yeah.
It just meant that it was isolated.
All right.
It meant that in the midst of isolation, though there were dry places, normally there were a few green places as well. Yeah. But it's considered desert because nobody has claimed it. Hold on. And then secondly, Jesus tells them in the desert place, he says, I'm getting ready to work a miracle, but I want you to have them to sit in green places.
Wow.
Yeah.
Come on.
Jesus says, touch your neighbor, tell them, say, they're in the desert, not a wilderness.
Yeah.
There is a difference. Look, hello, Walker. He tells them, he said, get them in this desert place and sit them and cause them to sit down in the green. When you look at that word green, it means plush.
Yeah.
It means soft.
Yeah.
It means comfortable, but it means prosperous.
Yeah.
In the desert.
And so Jesus tells the disciples, I want you to find the people a prosperous place
Thank you.
in the desert. Woo, shucks in here. Why don't you pull your neighbor and tell your neighbor, say, hey neighbor, if you look hard enough, you'll find green places in the desert. Yes, sir. He says, man, go sit down in the desert. Believe it or not, I'm getting ready to close. I feel preachy, but I'm getting ready to close. But this is the part that blessed me. He tells them to sit them in green places in the desert. He says, but don't just sit them in green places.
Yeah. All right.
He says, sit them in companies and in ranks.
Yeah. All right. Hallelujah.
Get them in order.
Yeah.
Get them in order.
Yeah.
He says, sit them in companies and in ranks. Companies of 50 and companies of, I don't have time to deal with 100 being Jubilee and 50 being Pentecost.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
To deal with the numerology of the text, and so we'll skate past that and we'll just deal with one word from that particular verse, and it's the word rank. And the word rank is the Greek word which means lined up or flower bed. The word rank in the text is not the military term rank.
All right.
The word rank in the text, in the Greek, simply means garden. He tells them to set the people in green places, and he uses the term rank. God was telling them, don't seed them, plant them. Oh Lord, this was the harvest time. Shucks, I got to go.
Yeah. Plant them.
Y'all ain't gotta take my word for it. Get your Strong's dictionary and go look at the word right there. Bless you. He says, sit them in green places. And then he says, and after you get them in green places, he say, put them in ranks of 50 and ranks of 100. And I didn't understand why it was such a necessity to have the people in green places. It's because Christ understood that if you plant them in the desert and it's no green, they'll die under the sun. So he was telling them, I need you to find a place to plant them. Yes, sir. In the desert. Grab your neighbor and tell your